there, this is Malorian, and this is going to be a Warhammer Fantasy Battle Report, and it's going to be a fun one, because it's a little bit themed, but what it's going to be is my buddy was coming up to Fort McMurray. He does that now and then, but because he flies, he doesn't have an army with him. So normally, even though we sometimes play in tournaments, we can't play up here because he has no army. But he said, hey, Malorian, why don't you just bring 2 armies with you and we'll be good to go? So I told him what I had for dwarves, and he's making a list. And I thought, hey, what's good to fight dwarves? Let's do orcs. Actually, no, let's do night goblins. We'll do a Skarsnik list up against dwarves. So that's what's happening. It's 2250. It's going to be watchtower, and it's going to be crazy. So let's see what happens. Alright, so looking at the dwarf side here, this is going to be the real core of his army. He's going to have a good sized unit here of the hammerers, and in there he's going to have his rune lord and his BSB. That gyrocopter that's painted, he's actually going to be using it as a gyro bomber, and then the dwarves there with shields, they're actually going to be the Longbeards. And way back off behind, you can see there's a rune priest, because, hey, you know, my Skarsnik stuff actually worked, and I had a couple of stuff started off the board. For my part, like I said, I got Skarsnik going, and I'm going to have a bunch of bosses. I actually have 6 bosses here alone, 5 of them being with great weapons, and then 1 being a BSB. And otherwise, like I said, it's going to be watchtower, and for my side, I have 2 of the bosses on giant cave squigs. I got the horde of the night goblins there with the short bows, the bust of night goblins that the characters you already saw, the 2 doom divers, the 2 rock labas, the squig hurt horde, and then I have the 86 goblins over there with spears, and I have 1 boss with them just to kind of help out, and then finally a mangler on the far right. For him, he has a gyro bomber on either flank. The one on the right is going to have the Vanguard rule. He had 2 units of the Quarrelers. One of them got started off the board because of my tricks and stuff. And then, yeah, otherwise from what I didn't show, he also has the flame cannon and an organ gun. And that's really it. So looking at this here, it's all about the watchtower. I actually won to be in the tower, but I had no unit small enough, so he picked that side, and he's going to be going first and all that good stuff. But looking at this here, I know that his templates can really do a number on me, right? Like he has the template coming from the 2 gyrocopters. He has the big one coming from the gyro bomber. He even has the flame cannon. So even though that unit there on the right has 86, I'm expecting them to be blown to pieces. So really, I want to try and target those gyrocopters early, and that's why I like having those random movement units on the flanks, because you can't really sneak past me. If you go aside, I'll just bounce over and get you. So I want to kill those. I definitely want to kill the flame cannon. So that was my first thinking, and then he started realizing, oh, if I kill those 10 handlers, the squig herd just explodes, right? And I was like, oh no, because when people realize that, bad things happen. And I really need them, because in the watchtower, you know, regular stabby night goblins aren't going to get much done. My heroes can do some stuff, but if he targets them with the hammers, they're just going to die. So I really need that squig herd to be fighting there. So all of a sudden, the organ gun is also a very big target. So I have a lot of things I need to go after, and we'll see how it goes. So in his turn, like I said, he vanguards over here, but he is really respecting the Mangler Squig. You know, he has no reason to really rush me in his eyes, because he just wants to shoot me off first turn, so he's happy being there. Oh, and this really, really hurt. He shot with his flame cannon, went for the extra distance, rolled a 10, killed a handful of my dudes. Now, I couldn't have these guys in the BSB range because of the way that things kind of rank up in the unit. So they were within the general's range, Skarsnik, and I had the banner of discipline, so he's leadership 9. But I failed my panic test in this entire block with the 2 fanatics run off the board. It was just, oh no! You know, this is so many points to lose early, but hey, you know, this stuff happens. Past that, he really doesn't do too much else. He tries shooting into the Mangler Squig, only does a single wound, shoots a little bit into the Squigs, kills 1 Squig, that's it. He marches up with both of his main blocks there. The Gyro Bomber is behind. The other gyrocopter is still holding their ground, staying pretty far back. You can see where his units in reserve came in, except for the Rune Priest. He's trying to run up to catch up. But yeah, looking at this, normally dwarves need 3 turns to get into the tower because the tower's standard size are smaller, and so really with a march and a move, you can't get in there until turn 3 type thing because movement 3 kind of sucks. We're going with a bigger watchtower. I did this on purpose because I think that really sucks. And so really he's in a position where he can already move in with either unit. Now, if those hammerers get in there, that's going to cause me a lot of trouble. But like I said, if they go in, my squigs can really screw them up. That was the plan anyway, but I also thought I'd be having 86 Night Goblins over there to be taking away attention. So here's just another picture just to show you from the above, to kind of show you where those things are hiding and how they're both threatening the watchtower. And then on my turn, I start off with a really nice animosity, and I fail, and my Squig Horde has to charge to do nothing, and everything's out of range, so we'll be doing nothing. So, why? Otherwise, I do what I can. The Cave Squigs bounce up on the left, do what they can. On the right, the Mangler's bouncing up too. I moved up just my regular movement with my short bow Night Goblin so I could take some shots. Also went up with the, just marching up with the Snagla, because really, or sorry, not Snagla, Skarsnik's unit, because I really need to try and threaten those hammerers. I would really much rather the hammerers are fighting this unit than them going inside the castle, the watchtower. That'd be really bad. In my magic phase, all I have is 2 bound items. I have Skarsnik's, and I have the one on one of the little jumping guys, the one that's further back with the charm shield. And yeah, he stops. He uses one of his scrolls, and that's really it. For the shooting, I go after the organ gun. This was really weird because both my rock lavas went for it first. Because again, the biggest thing I need right now is that organ gun gone, so it's not going to make my squigs explode. But both of them scattered. Both of them scattered 2 inches. Both of them rolled a 6 for the partial, and so I left with 1 wound. So I was like, okay, if I can just finish it off with the Doom Divers, we're aces. Well, one misfires and can't shoot, and the other one scatters way off, and I'm able to kill like 6 of the Longbeards, but still, that's a perfectly operating organ gun, and that's bad news. So in his turn, he tries to sneak over here with the gyrocopter. That triggers off the fanatics, and he dies. And that's pretty nice for me. Otherwise, he does take his hammerers into the watchtower, so now I know this is going to be something I really got to work on, because not only does he have the hammerers, which are pretty badass, but he also has 2 characters in here. And those are some of the hardest things to get out of buildings, especially when they have high leadership. Otherwise, over here, the organ gun I failed to kill goes and finishes off my Mangler Squig. And after everything, it looks like this. So you can see how the Gyro Bomber and the Gyrocopter are now going to my empty right flank. Plus the Gyro Bomber is so close, I can almost not shoot it with anything. His shooting at my front squig, I was like, yeah, I got an awesome save, I don't care. And then he did 2 wounds to me with his Quarreler. So that's not good news. Otherwise, he shot his little flame template at me. I already even just moved up this turn. But yeah, now I got to really get into that watchtower. So on my turn, that's what I do. The squigs are going to charge in there. And really, this is like my best matchup for them because hammerers usually just smash whatever they want. And really, I mean, these guys are toughness 3. I don't care how strong you are. I have no armor. And meanwhile, these guys actually have hatred against the dwarves. They are strength 5, so they ignore the armor, and they have 2 attacks each. So these guys can chew up those hammerers really quick. Otherwise, I go up with Skarsnik's unit so I can actually threaten the flank of this unit over here. Plus, I want them close enough to be going to the building as a second wave anyway. So it's looking pretty good. This doesn't look good. This was a kick in the nuts. I go to shoot the one rock lob with a can at the gyro bomber, misfire, explode, and it panics one of the Doom Divers. The other Doom Diver actually passed its test, and then the other rock lava was actually outside of 6. But, you know, taking out 2 of my war machines effectively was not what I needed. Otherwise, I go charging here into the corridors. I tried going with both hopping in, but I only got the one guy. He kills 4 and he holds. And then otherwise here in the building, I kill 11 hammerers, which is really good, but he kills tons. Like, it was like 18 or 17 of my squigs. Now, to be honest, this is kind of what I thought would happen because he's hitting me on 3s, re-rolled with hatred, and killing on 2s. And again, you know what? I'm actually totally fine with this. To me, these squigs are supposed to go in, kill as many hammers as possible, so it's then safe to go in with my other main unit. So, to me, this is perfect. This is exactly what I needed. Otherwise, the board is looking like this. I'd actually decided to reform my Night Goblin Horde there to face the center because, hey, let's go and fire all these short bows and try and deal with the gyrocopters this way. It was actually kind of stupid because, you know, I'm wounding on 6s and stuff. They're probably better just moving up, but at this point, they really don't have anything to deal with anyway, so, whatever. My magic phase, again, did nothing. He just used another scroll. Actually, no, I'm lying. I got Irresistible Force with my Skarsnik pole, and so I killed, I think, one of the Longbeards, but so that thing's now destroyed. He actually just rolls regular dice to stop my fireball ring, and that's it. You know, again, I tried finishing off the organ gun because I really need, again, those squigs to go in, again, to do what their damage. But, yeah, kept on scattering off, and bad news. So on his turn, he's going to charge into the Doom Diver as such that he can overrun to the Rock Lava. And then over here, he does a bombing run with his Gyro Bomber, kills a good number of the Night Goblins, and they pass their panic. Over here, he shoots over here with a flame cannon, kills a bunch of guys, and then shoots with the organ gun, kills some more. So now I only have 6 squigs left. You know, like, they can go in, they can do some damage, but I really wanted to have at least a full 10. So this hurts, but hey, it could have been worse. Plus, he was kind of thinking about charging in with his Longbeards and trying to get like a clipping charge, but because of my threat, he decided to look over at my characters instead. So over here, of course, he beats my Doom Diver and overruns into my Rock Lava. Over here, I was able to beat and break his Coralers, but he got away because with 3 dice, I rolled a 5. And at the end of turn, it looks like this. So, you know, his Gyro Bomber is off where I can't see it. My War Machines are in pieces. My little jumping squigs, the cave squigs, they're doing well, but I am really getting worried about this watchtower because I still have a good number of guys to kill, and I also have to deal with the unit at the top. So on this turn, I charge over here. This should be easy. All he has is the Rune Priest. I have tons of characters here, tons of extra ranks. I have nets, so I should be able to beat these guys, break them. I'm going to let them run and then face the building so I can charge it next turn. Over here, I fail Animosity, so I have to charge my Night Goblins at the one Gyrocopter that was barely in range. Of course, I fail it because I need like an 11. Of course, the Squigs go back into the watchtower. And then over here, both these guys are going to team up with these Quarrelers, and it's going to be bad news for them. So over here, what happens is I actually kind of whiff against the Quarrelers. I only kill 4, which was pretty crappy. That means that they're actually steadfast, so they, of course, hold on a 9. Otherwise, man, I thought I did pretty good going against the Warriors down here. Of course, when you recharge them, they're a little bit tougher because they have a 5+ parry, but even then, I beat them by an okay amount. It would have been way more, except he actually had the breath weapon here, so he used it on me, killed like 5 guys right there. So instead of me winning by, like 7, I only won by 2, but he holds. And at first I was like, damn it, he held. And then I realized, oh, that means I can beat him on his turn, and then he won't be able to shoot me with his flame cannon. So this actually wasn't so bad to not break him on the charge. Otherwise, this is what the board looks like. Not too much I could actually do with shooting. Kind of just rallied with my Doom Diver, and then after he destroyed my Rock Lava, I panicked again. So there you go. On his turn, he's going to charge that Doom Diver. Over here, he does a bombing run to my Night Goblins, kills tons of them, but look, I made my leadership, so we don't care. Otherwise, up here, we kill the last of the Quarrelers, so that's pretty nice. Pretty much killed him to a man. And then otherwise, in that combat, I beat him by 6. He's killed one of my characters now. Another character has a wound, but I'm kicking his butt, and he holds. Oh! So whereas I thought I could be charging in this turn, nope, no such luck. Otherwise, my Squigs go in, and they actually kill a good number again, but he completely wipes out the unit, so the Squig guys are all gone. But, yeah. I really, really needed to have those guys charge in this next turn here. So, otherwise, over here, I declare a charge on this Gyrocopter. At first, he's thinking of fleeing, but going from center to center, odds were he'd go off the board. So I needed a 7. Odds I was in. He decided to take the risk. I only went 5 inches. So failed to charge, but whatever. Otherwise, over here, I'm starting to bounce towards his flame cannon. I try and do some fireballs to him. He uses his last little scroll on it. And then otherwise, I finally beat these guys. They break. He killed another hero. So out of the 5 I had, I only have the 3 now. And now I'm able to reform the face of the building. But I needed this to happen one of the last 2 turns. So overall, this is what the board looks like. I'm wishing I had more war machines. On his turn, he comes over here and sprays these guys. But again, I pass my leadership. And you would think that Leadership 5 is like you have to do 1 test and these guys are running for the hills, but for some reason these guys are holding on like a boss. Otherwise, over here, what happened is he tried to shoot at my guys with a flame cannon, but did 2 wounds to the guy that was unwounded. So I had 2 of these guys left with 1 wound. Then the one was able to charge into the flame cannon on my turn, and the other one's kind of bouncing towards the organ gun. Remember, he has the fireball ring, so he'll be trying that for again. And now is the time where I'm going to try and go into this building. Sorry, actually, the guy that was bouncing this way with the sword up in the air, he went into that unit of fleeing warriors that had the Rune Priest and caught and killed them. So they're off the board, and he's also there, like I said, to be by the organ gun. Then I use the fireball, he fails to dispel, and I do the 1 wound to kill the organ gun. So these cave squigs are doing pretty awesome. So at the end here, I was able to pretty much do nothing to that flame cannon. I go in, I completely whiff. He holds because he's stubborn. And then in the combat, I am going all out. I send in Skarsnik, I send in my BSB, I send in the unit champ, I send in the 3 other heroes with great weapons, and then just 4 other dudes. And the way it works is I'm able to kill off almost all of the hammer. He actually issues a challenge. I take it with my unit champ, so it's the BSB versus the unit champ. I'm able to kill off almost all the hammers before they get the strike. The last 3 try to go after Skarsnik, but kind of whiff on their 3+ the wound because they're netted. And then after, when I'm coming back, I just wipe out all of the hammerers. Made a little bit of an overkill mistake there because there was only like a couple left, so I really should have put some attacks against the Rune Lord, but at least now there's no hammerers, there's only the 2 characters. They passed their test, but now next time I go in, I can really focus on these guys and try and take them out. Except that at the end of turn 5, we roll a dice and we get a 5, so that's the end of the game. And who's in the tower? It's the Dwarves. So Dwarves get the victory. So there you go, is a victory for the Dwarves. And it was a really fun and enjoyable game. You know, there's a lot of people that don't like Watchtower, but it really is a fun mission when you're playing it either friendly or on equal terms, really. Really, you know, I did have a little bit of bad luck. The big block fleeing off the board first turn was a massive blow. Then, of course, me fighting the other block where it just kept on holding. You know, it was just, oh, come on. But sometimes those things happen. I did make mistakes too. I'd say my biggest ones, which is something I usually don't actually make mistakes on, was the actual focusing on the scenario. Now, of course, the one here, it doesn't really matter what dies. All that matters is that you hold that tower. And meanwhile, on my turn, I was focusing on my war machines onto the gyrocopters. I was focusing on the organ gun. But really, you know, sure, after the events kind of unfolded and the organ gun was really making me worried about the squig herd guys exploding if you're really focused and got the template and all those nice things, really I should have been aiming a lot of these things at those early blocks, right? Making sure to break these guys down, and especially those rock lavas can do a lot of damage to those hammerers. You know, in that first turn where each one scattered off 2 inches, they could have killed a nice little chunk of hammerers from the very beginning. And so that's a little bit of a mistake there about where I should have been focusing that energy. But it's just one of those things where you see all these gyrocopters and things with templates coming after you. You're just thinking, I got to shut these down. But either way, it was a lot of fun. And hopefully next time he comes up, I'll bring up another 2 armies and we'll play again. So there you go. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later. Bye.